Good morning, everybody. Back to Wednesday this week. Lovely to see you. I hope you're having a good day and that you're well. So today I would like to talk about how we can help others to catch their breath or manage the breath. It's something that, of course, it's very close to my heart as a mum, and I'm sure it has affected quite a few people. I know many friends and parents who have perhaps children who suffer from asthma, or perhaps you could be living with an adult who they might be well most of the time, and then all of a sudden they might experience a coughing fit particularly. I found last year, when we first started hearing about COVID, it suddenly became evident that the moment somebody was coughing, it was in everybody's mind that we didn't really know whether it might be related or not. And as we've talked about before, when we are worried about something, the muscles in our throat tense up. So a natural reaction is to panic a little, and actually what ends up happening is that when the body is coughing because it's trying to free itself of a virus, because we are scared, we then tense up and we struggle to breathe. So the cough doesn't have the beneficial point that it should do from a body's point of view. I certainly remember my husband, bless him, he's always fit as a fiddle, and when we first then went into isolation last year in March, the first time he had quite a big cough, and I could see that he started to look worried, he started to sort of gasp for air, and it was probably just a cough, but in that moment there was a need for assistance. So how can we help when we're in a room and somebody's struggling like that? What do we do? I'll give you a moment to think about that for a second, just while I'll set up my laptop and make sure. If you have any comments, any questions, any suggestions, please do put a comment underneath the video. Let me see. So, okay. Lovely. So I've got that open now. Okay, so first of all, the thing to do, have you ever flown? Have you ever been on an airplane? When you're on an airplane, they tell you about the health and safety procedures. Do you remember the first thing they say to you? Well, of course, they tell you how to do everything, but when they talk about putting on a safety jacket or putting on the oxygen masks, the first thing they say is, if you're helping somebody else, make sure that your mask is on. Make sure that you are safe so that you can help other people. So the first thing we need to do when we're in a situation when somebody is struggling, the first thing we need to do is to focus on our own breath. It might seem idiosyncratic because, of course, if we're caring, we want to jump to the assistance, we want to be helpful. You're going to be no use to anybody if you're all flustered and panicky. So the first thing to do is to take a deep breath in through the mouth and blow. Now, the way we talked before, in case this is the first time you see this video, now I will upload it separately on YouTube later if I may. Let's talk about how to breathe properly. So if this is you need to breathe into the soft palate. So first of all, let's have a little feel for the soft palate with our tongue. So if you feel the roof of your mouth with your tongue, just above the tongue, that's hard, it's your hard palate. If you keep hedging your tongue towards the back, you'll hit a ridge in the hard palate, and then you got soft, that's the soft palate. Now we stretch the soft palate naturally when we yawn or when we gasp. So if this is the first time you have a go, have a little pretend yawn to feel the soft palate move. Okay, so let's have a big yawn. Breathe in. Yeah. Or a gasp. Imagine somebody's giving you a present and you go, how lovely. Okay, so present. How lovely. Yep. So if you do that, you should feel that gust of air fill up that soft palate and make it stretch. So the thing to do with deep breathing is to harness that ability, and rather than wait till we're tired and yawning, or somebody gives us a present and we're gasping, or we're in shock and we're gasping, we take charge. We decide. We breathe in through the mouth, into the soft palate, and we release the air slowly through slightly pursed lips. So don't just let all the air out. Blow the air out very slowly and make sure you're controlling from your abdomen. So how does that help? How does that help anybody? It helps you. It helps you to focus. For a start, you'll have plenty of oxygen going into your lungs, so that there's oxygen going to your brain, your mind is clear. Yes? Because we're breathing into the soft palate, we get a lot of air in one go. Our lungs fill from the bottom up. So because the lungs are fuller of air, they're heavier, our abdominal muscles will engage. And that will allow us to be more centered, and our weight will be more centered, will be more focused and more anchored within ourselves. Okay? The fact that we are making the conscious effort to first take a deep breath and focus on ourselves will actually help us to treat the situation in perspective and actually be helpful. If you don't, quite often, if we just sort of jump into the rescue, if you see somebody struggling, it can be quite flustering. You might find that your thoughts get in the way and you're not quite sure what to do. And quite often, I've seen sort of parents go, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? So take a deep breath and calm down. So that's step one. Step two, observe. Watch the person. What is the actual problem? What is happening? There may be different things. For instance, it just so happened, I was asking my lovely children to help me yesterday. I asked them if they wanted to be in the video. They very politely turned it down. Besides, they're all studying at the moment. They're all homeschooling. So that's fine. It's just going to be me. And I'm going to leave this to you to practice perhaps with your children or with friends or whoever you might be living with at the moment. It just so happened that whilst we were talking about it and we were at the table, one of my children suddenly choked on something. Oh, good Lord. And then you go, well, okay, so how do you react in this situation? First thing you do, you look at the person. And there are different sort of reactions. If somebody is choking in the sense that something is blocking their airways, they won't be able to breathe. And it'll be quite a quick thing. For that specific situation, I would refer you to look up Heimlich maneuvers and things like that. There's the usual tapping in the center of the top of the back to help anything dislodge. I won't go into that detail. It's something else. When it comes to actual breathing difficulties, and that's happened to my daughter, actually what had happened is there's something that sort of scraped the sides, the edges of the throat. So the first thing you do, you look at the person, you check if they're breathing. If they're breathing, but they're getting sort of flustered and they're coughing, and there's sort of cough like this, what's actually happening is that no air is going in, they're just trying to clear the throat. So with the baby it will be very different. If with a person of any age in which they can actually listen to your voice and understand you, so it could be 2 years old up, you look the person in the eye, you call their name, you must say, Annalisa, look at me, take a deep breath, in through the mouth, blow it out slowly, you giving that that direction will allow you to see if they can actually breathe, if their airways are clear. If they are breathing but they're a little flustered, say, okay, take a nice big breath in through the mouth, because you want the air to push things out of the way. If you got food stuck in your throat, you want that to happen. So you take a big gasp, you go, and then blow, like you're blowing out a birthday candle. So you do this with the person. You do it with them so that they copy you. If they're under stress, they will be much more likely to copy what you are doing than to listen. So that's the other thing. Make sure that having had your deep breath, you're smiling, your cheeks are up. So as you're talking, we talked about this before. When projecting your voice, you breathe into the soft palate, your cheeks go up. What actually happens is that your voice is much louder. It's also a bit deeper, and both your face and the tone of your voice are calming. So what you are doing actually by just looking the person in the eyes and talking to them is they're already calming down. So you are helping them manage the anxiety side and the panic side of the choking or the cough or the coughing fit or whatever it is that's taking the breath away. Good, so you do that. So let's cover this again. So you look them in the eye, call their name, you smile and say, it's okay. Take a deep breath in through the mouth and then blow the air out as if you're blowing out a candle. Okay, let's do it together. Good. Now, if it's better but they're still struggling, let's do one more time. Breathe in and blow. Keep looking them in the eye so you can look at their face, check that they're not turning colour or anything. If they're struggling to breathe and starting to turn colour, immediately, if there is someone else in the room, get somebody to dial 999 111 to get medical support. Ideally, you'd want someone else to do that so you can keep helping the person. If you are on your own with the person, then do the best you can. Pick up the phone, phone them up. They will help you along anyway. So if it's something that you can manage, so this bits of advice is very much about what we can manage without medical help. If it's something serious, please do speak to a doctor, call an ambulance. You know, that's obviously priority. So if you look at the person and the breathing is improving and it's helping them and they're coming down, then keep doing. Make sure you reassure them with a smile. So is that better? Let's do one more time just to really relax. So breathe in. Okay, and let it go. Now sometimes you might find they might need a bit of water. So I remember when I was a child, what happened a lot is that I come from a seaside town, so we used to eat fish quite a lot with bones, and I would have to sort out the bones myself. It was part of growing up. You learned how to eat fish. So quite often I get a massive bone stuck in my epiglottis, is that what you call it in English? You know, the little dangly bit at the back of your throat. Oh, and the thing they always say, or if you get a fish bone stuck in your throat, I always used to be told to eat a large chunk of bread. That's why it's great to have something quite chewy, so not just sliced bread. If you only have sliced bread, perhaps use some of the crust. So you can say, okay, eat something bigger that can move it out of the way, so push it down. Get them to eat something. They can chew, they can swallow. If they're okay, they're okay. They can have a drink of water. That's it. So that's in that sort of situation. If you're just at the dinner table and something just sort of gets in the way, and that's how you can manage that. And it's nice and focused, nice and helpful for yourself and for the child or grown up or whatever. Now, what about if somebody's actually having a coughing fit, or they might be in a situation where they end up sort of struggling for breath. They might just be anxious, or maybe they've been for a run and they're sort of out of breath. Again, take a deep breath yourself so that you're focused. You're focusing on looking at what's going on, assessing the situation. What can you do? How can you help? Again, is calling for an ambulance the best option? If that is the best option, do that. That's the point of assessing situation. If they just seem to be sort of struggling, first thing you do, you look at them and you say, you okay? First thing to do, make sure you're breathing. So just say to the person, don't say the first thing, just take a deep breath. Make sure you're breathing deeply. That'll help you through the cough. So tell them why the thing will help. And say, don't worry, take a deep breath in through the mouth, and blow. So you do it with them, and what you get them to do, if they're coughing, what they need is to stretch the muscles in the throat, and they need a lot of air going into the back of the throat, so you go straight to the bottom of the lungs. And then what you're aiming for is for the lungs to fill up with air and then release the air. And if there's any phlegm in the way, the lungs want to have a good cough right from the bottom, the way that our lungs do naturally. So the way to get a good cough out is to get a lot of air in the first place. Okay, so you do it with the person. You say, right, take a deep breath in through the throat, breathe in, and then blow slowly. Show them like this. So you're blowing as if you're blowing out a candle. So the air comes out relatively slowly, but there's a lot of air being pushed through at the same time, like you're making wind, So a couple more times. Breathe in and blow. Breathe in and blow. Once more. And blow. So you can carry on with them, breathing deeper and deeper and slower and much more calmly until they are ready and they've come down and they've settled. Now if they're coughing, just managing the expansion of the lungs and the throat will help them cough properly. So once they've stopped coughing, they should be able to just take a couple of deep breaths just to sort of relax. But do help them, whilst they are coughing, if they are struggling for air in the middle of the cough. To be honest, it's really quite simple. It sounds a bit trivial, perhaps, but I have personally found these pointers really, really useful, really helpful. Both from the point of view of the people that I've been able to help on the moment, but as somebody in the room, you can feel really helpless if you see that somebody is struggling. And I've helped both my husband, who's a grown adult, and I've also helped my children. And it is worth bearing in mind, I have 3 children, and what I notice, each person breathes in a slightly different way. Your personality gets in the way of how you breathe. It's really quite bizarre. Whether your personality, but also how healthy you are, what kind of things you eat perhaps, how you speak, whether you tend to have good posture, not very good posture, really bad posture. Because how you stand is how your muscles get used to being positioned and how they support you. So the less good posture a person has, the more they're likely to breathe in a very shallow way. And the more sort of, you get people who are quite shy in a slightly anxious way. They get worried very easily. Then their breath will be quite shallow and they will just breathe. And you can sort of hear. If you're watching and you're listening to the people around you, perhaps do that just through the day to day, without having to wait till your help is needed. Just observe. Listen to people. Observe how they breathe, how they talk. People with quite high-pitched voices tend to have a fairly tensed throat. It's worth, if you have people you live with particularly children that you're raising, so you get to sort of do things with them and train them and teach them things. Try and make a session like this part of your weekly routine. Say, okay, perhaps on Wednesday afternoon or Wednesday just before lunch or whatever, I don't know, whenever it suits you, get your kids together. It doesn't have to be while I'm there. Doesn't have to be in front of the video. Teach your kids how to do the deep breathing exercises, how to breathe deeply first of all, some simple exercises. You can focus on little songs, maybe songs that they know and you can sing together. It could be Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Actually, it's really great. Start them young, the sort of age where you normally take them to playgroup, and they get to know a lot of nursery rhymes. You can sit around and you can say, okay, let's take some deep breaths. Breathe in through the mouth, big smiles, and blow the candles away. Or blow the candles out, maybe. Imagine there's a big birthday cake. Take it. I'm struggling now. I'm getting excited thinking birthday cakes and nursery rhymes. Take a deep breath in through the mouth and then blow the candles out. So you can have that sort of approach with the children. You can go, okay, big breath in and blow. And then once they've done the deep breathing of that through a few deep breaths, then you can say, okay, let's get singing. So if you're singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you say keep breathing in the same way. Kids tend to pick up things really easily, and once they've done the deep breathing, they've relaxed and their muscles will be used to moving like that quite quickly. So you say if you're singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you listen to them as well. We sing with them. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Oh, now as the children sing that, or if they're a bit older, as the people in the room sing, listen to the voices. And you will find that if a person tends to talk in a high-pitched way because they're tightening their throat, you will know that when they've done the deep breathing, the voice will be deeper. So yeah, it's worth observing and listening. Okay, so I think I've done enough talking about that. If you have any comments or any questions, please do leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Perhaps go off and try things and then come back and let me know. Let me know if it's been helpful. So next thing, let's just do something just for ourselves. We're going to do a little warm-up. Then perhaps we'll sing Twinkle Twinkle, why not? Okay, so let's focus. Have a little shake. Shake your hands. Shake your shoulders. Arms up to the top. Wriggle your fingers. Look up to the sky. Twist your hands like that. And down to the sides. Keep twisting as if you're sort of unscrewing, I don't know, bolts, whatever, with your arms. And to the front. And to the sides. And then just, turn your shoulders. First in one direction, then back the other way. And then up and down. Up and down. Lovely. Now, because we've talked about stuff that, sometimes although something is interesting, talking about how to cope in a stress situation can actually heighten our senses and make us a little bit more on edge. So we'll focus on calming down a little. If you like to have a drink of water, have a drink of water. And then we'll start. What I'd like to do, we're going to start with some breathing through the nose. But while we breathe, try to visualize the air going in through the nostrils, through behind your eye sockets, into the top of the skull, above your head. And also feel the air fill your lungs. And as you blow the air out slowly, still through the nose, try and blow the air out from your abdomen. So engage your abdominal muscles. Let's see if we can manage it. So let's breathe in together. Breathe in through the nose. And out. Good. Couple more breaths like that. Really visualize the inside of your head as if it was just a nice clear chamber where you've got perhaps the light coming in through your eyes. If your eyes are closed, you can still visualize the light coming through your eyes. And just visualize that room being clean and just full of clean air that comes perhaps in through the windows, and then it just gets all refreshed. So breathe in and out. One last breath, the same way. Breathe in and out. Good. So you should now feel a little bit more calm and relaxed. What we're going to do is that we're going to bring the air down towards the lower parts of our body. So we started with the head, the mind. The next, pull your feet apart a little bit. If you're standing or if you're sitting, just make sure you're sitting with your back nice and straight. Your feet are sort of on the ground, or if your feet can't quite touch the ground, just cross your ankles so that your pelvis and your thighs can sort of be quite sort of symmetrical and nice and open, and your back is nice and straight, nice and strong. We're going to turn side by side, and this time we'll breathe into the soft palate. So we breathe in through the mouth, fill in the soft palate, hold the air a moment to let it settle thoroughly through your lungs, and then blow through your lips. So turn into one side, take the air in as your arms go up, and then blow as you bring the arms down and push forward, so both ends together. So the movement to the side, I'll turn to face the side, so when I turn to the side, I'll face you. So we'll turn to the side, breathe in, and blow. Breathe in, and blow forward. And turn to the other side. Breathe in and blow. Now towards the top, we'll tilt your back slightly. Breathe in and blow as you come down the other side. Head down, especially if you start feeling a little bit lightheaded. You shouldn't, but if you do, just bring your head down a little bit. Make sure you've released all of the air, and breathe in. And turn to the other side again, gently tilting your spine, and then down. Blow. Now stand up straight again, face forward. Next we're going to take a big breath in through the nose, but visualizing the air going into the back of the throat and top of the chest, and then blowing as we did the mouth breath. So breathe in and blow. Let's do this one once more, and the idea is to have a good stretch the muscles on the top of your back, so the muscles around the rib cage, around your lungs. So stretching right from the center of your back out. Breathe in and blow. you're stretching out right from the center of your back. You should feel stretches right down your shoulders. And then you come back. Oh, right, lovely. Now we'll do a couple of humming exercises. We won't do many, because I don't want to go on for too long. So if you feel, sometimes they say the deep breathing clears the airways a little bit, so you might find that you're coughing or sneezing. It's absolutely fine. You might even find that you're yawning. Quite often if you're relaxing, you're yawning away, and don't worry, it's perfectly normal. Good. So what we're going to do, because I'm having in mind sort of children and doing things, we'll start with a normal hum. So mouth closed on a Make sure your cheeks are nice and high, and the hum should be really quite nasal. You should feel the vibrations across your cheekbones there, sort of between the nose and the cheekbones and the top of the mouth, the top of your teeth. And we'll go nice and smooth. Okay, together. Going down. Couple more. Perhaps if you were doing these exercises with children, you could be thinking about mermaids and going into the sea and thinking about corals and the magic of Atlantis, you know, things like that, to get the mind traveling. So you're stretching all of your muscles in your head through stretching the imaginations, you know. So on. Oh, we'll turn it to ah. Oh, what happened to the voice there? We'll do one more on E. Coming back up to O. O. E. E. A. Release the air for a moment, so I can tell you. You may notice that what I'm doing, I'm changing the vowels, but the shape of the mouth remains the same. So same as where we started humming, although we've bloomed into vowels, the shape of the mouth doesn't change. So you just trust in your brain to sing the vowels. Your tongue will do the work of shaping them. Excuse me. So we'll carry on. We'll do a few more. Excuse me. And we'll go on breathing. E. 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 O. O. Two more. E. E. That takes us to the next exercise. We're going to go so we start on the same note, we go up a bit more, and then up, and then down. Okay? Let's see. Perhaps play about with the vowels, see what works. We start on R. So. high on. As we go in high, I'll be doing this, but try and visualize it as if you're actually going backwards and forwards, like a sort of elastic band. So we go. Now that sounded really ugly, so I'm going to have another go. But that's sort of the shape of the exercise. I was sort of testing the waters for pitch there. I think an E is quite a difficult vowel to sing, especially high. So we'll use it as a sort of exercise. And part of the point of vocal exercises is really to get to know your body, get to know your instrument. And I find it really useful to test the discomfort zones. Where am I uncomfortable? How can I either avoid those uncomfortable areas? How can I make them better? How can I be comfortable where I'm uncomfortable? So let's have another go on the E. Let's make sure we're breathing into the soft palate. We'll make it nice and small, and we'll start it nice and gentle, as if you were singing a lullaby. So, together. See where that goes. Okay, bring it down to sounding a bit less operatic and shouty. Last vocal exercise. We talked about water mermaids. But think little fishes swimming across the sea, right, sort of quite close to you. We'll go. It's quite in tune. Let's just sort of go with it. I'll sing it once more. That's better, isn't it? Together. Up first. Once more. Last one. Come back down to I. Two more. Last one. And actually it feels a little bit perfect cadence. Last one there. Let the air go. Have a little stretch and relax. If there's any tension anywhere still, and I'm really relaxed. Or I've got a bit of a stiff neck this one. Fantastic. So now that we're all warmed up and chilled out, let's sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Do you know the words? Do you know the words? If you don't know the words, it goes, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Yeah, let's sing it together. So, deep breath in, soft palate up, cheeks up, nice and high. Feel the air right in the chest, nice and gentle. So, we'll pitch it on together. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I like that. If you sort of sing it again, try to really make the most of the consonant. Have a real go at the twinkle, twinkle. Really bounce the sound off of the in and the T. Yeah? We do it once more. See how light we can make it. Once more. Wind moves. Okay? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And with variations. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, I wonder what you are. Good. Lovely. Well, that's me for today. As I say, if you have any questions or any subjects that you'd like us to, pluralimus studies again, if you'd like me to cover next week, I'll be back 11 o'clock next Wednesday. See you again soon. Take care. Bye.